rumors J.J. Redick looked into by Raptors as potential head coaching candidate. As the Toronto Raptors continue their search for a new head coach, the franchise is reportedly eyeing a unique potential candidate. According to Michael Grange of Sportsnet, the Raptors have looked into the possibility of former NBA shooting guard and current ESPN analyst J.J. Redick being named head coach material. And then basically, you can go online and search for other sources that that will have more information about this. But essentially, this is what this article is saying, right? That it turns out that J.J. Redick could be potentially becoming a head coach in the NBA. So here are my thoughts on this. I'm surprised and I'm not surprised. Let me tell you the reason I'm surprised. The reason I'm saying I'm surprised is that I think a lot of us are making a connection with J.J. Redick through sports media, through his takes on ESPN, through his interviews on The Old Man and the Three, right? The J.J. Redick podcast. So I think a lot of us connect with him on that level. And the interesting thing about sports media and television as a whole is that a lot of former athletes are now being known more for the shows that they appear on TV than their actual playing careers. This is something that 3-time Super Bowl winner, Hall of Fame Pro Bowler, Hall of Fame player in Shannon Sharpe has said. He said a lot of people that approach him now aren't even aware that he's a former Hall of Fame player. Like, he played for the Denver Broncos. They don't even talk to him about that. In the Baltimore Ravens, they're like, we saw you on this show, right? So it shows you the power of television, right? Television can really take your popularity to a whole new level. So to me, I'm surprised because of that, because that's how I kind of connect with J.J. Redick, right? Through what he says in media, on television, and his podcast. So that's the first part. The part where I'm not surprised is the fact that they're looking into him as a coach, because obviously J.J. Redick is a former NBA player. He's someone that is able to explain basketball from an X and O standpoint very, very well. You can tell. You can tell that this guy really is into the nuances of basketball. That's number one. Number two, I think the other reason I'm not surprised is that he's a good communicator, which I believe is a skill that's highly valued when you're looking at a coaching candidate, right? Because you need someone that just doesn't, it's not enough for you to understand the sport. You also have to be able, in my opinion, to explain it. You also have to be able to relate to other players. And I think that by listening to J.J. Redick talk about basketball, you understand that he has the emotional intelligence to relate to basketball players, which I believe is something that's very important to NBA players. The fact that players can connect better with coaches that played basketball. For whatever reason, you don't need to be a championship head coach. No. I mean, you don't need to be a player that won multiple championships as an MVP. No. Because if that were the case, Steve Nash would have been a hell of a coach, right? But in this case, I think they connect more with guys that have actually gone through the rigors of an NBA season the way they have, because they can connect on a deeper level. It's the same thing you see with Ty Lue. Ty Lue connects with guys, even Phil Jackson, right? So former players, I believe, have kind of a leg up on some of the guys that did. Now, it's not saying that you need to be a former player, because I don't believe Greg Popovich was a former player, but he's still an excellent basketball coach, right? So one is not saying it's a prerequisite, but it's something that definitely works in your favor. And to me, I think this is a very, very interesting development for J.J. Redick's career trajectory, right? Because I don't know, maybe that was ultimately his goal, to become an NBA head coach. I don't know. And maybe he was kind of auditioning on television. I don't know this, but what an interesting turn of events. And this is what happens when I believe you become successful. Success breeds more success. More opportunities come to you, right? And I think given the fact that he had a